what do you not like about the build-up to this year's WrestleMania?
WrestleMania 41 is from Las Vegas this year. I mean, the build-up's been kind of slow, in my opinion. Let's see, what else? When you look at it, all the matches seem kind of like thrown together last minute.
Okay, so slow and thrown together.
Stories don't make sense either. Some of the stories don't. You know, what about you?
So, to be completely honest, I started following this era of wrestling whenever I actually following and trying to get into the storylines, get into the characters when it got into Netflix. So beginning of this year.
Okay.
So I've been watching it every Monday, and I only watch Raw. I've been keeping up with the stories on TikTok when it comes to SmackDown.
And we don't watch NXT.
But I don't think it has been that bad. So I want to ask you a question. How do you define slow? What is it that you do to define slow? Because
well, they're still adding matches. As of this week, they're still adding matches to WrestleMania.
Well,
it's not even the card's not even fully.
So going back to the original question, what is slow about it? Is it the fact that it hasn't come out with the full card? Is it?
Well, it's that. Plus, they keep. I mean, it feels like it's been a drag from. I don't know if it's the placement of. They moved Elimination Chamber to March 1st, and so they moved WrestleMania back 2 weeks. Because usually it's the first week of April.
Right.
April 3rd and 4th.
Right.
I don't know if it's the time.
But I don't think 2 weeks would really make that big of a difference. So, I don't think, to take the contrary side of this, I don't think it has been that big a bit of a drag. I think they're trying to promote the long-term storytelling, and in order to get everything they wanted to with, so this is where I agree with you, with the big storylines like the John Cena's and Cody Rhodes, with the Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punks, they have taken away from developing some of the other stories in the undercard or midcard.
Okay.
That's where I think it has been not necessarily low in the build-up, but almost non-existent, to where now it has been a situation to we're still just now getting some of the matches that we're going to get to WrestleMania.
I think some of them shouldn't be on WrestleMania either.
But that's the problem you have with having a 2-day WrestleMania event.
Well, let's talk about that too.
Okay.
18 hours over 2 days. When I'm used to, hey, WrestleMania is just 4 hours. You don't need the pre-show. You don't want to listen to someone talk for 3 hours about the same thing over and over and over. You know what I mean?
Same thing being wrestling?
Yeah.
I disagree. I think people wouldn't like... I see your point.
Because my brother, I'll be watching it with my brother this weekend.
Yeah.
And he wants to watch NXT Stand and Deliver as well. So imagine watching NXT Stand and Deliver, then the pre-show, then you watch night one, then you watch...
Yeah, but the casual viewers are only going to watch, if anything, the last 3 fights of night one and the last 3 fights of night two. Most likely night one, because night two is Sunday, and Sunday is technically a school night because tomorrow you got to wake up early.
It's also Easter.
And it's also Easter. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with making it on Easter. But that's beside the point. I'm going to try to stay on topic. That being said, so failures to leading up to WrestleMania. One is the failure to build the stories for the mid card and undercards, which I guess is not really necessary for mid card for undercards.
I mean, for the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania is supposed to end rivalries and start new ones. Like, everybody's supposed to start fresh after WrestleMania. And I guess a lot of people are also looking at it like, nothing's going to compare to last year. WrestleMania 40, nothing is going to compare. I'm not saying it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's not going to be compared to... You're not going to be able to compare it to last year because there was so much that happened.
There was a lot of things that happened last year. I agree.
But at the same time, I mean, you're looking at maybe I mean, let's talk about some of the thrown together matches.
Okay, what are some of the thrown
I
together
don't
matches?
agree with Naomi versus Jade, unless they're creating it to where Bianca finally turns heel.
But Bianca isn't even in that picture right now.
Yes, but so it started as Naomi and...
Right.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Okay.
I'm not trying to foresee that right now. I'm just saying, I don't think Naomi should be on WrestleMania card.
Do you think, and this is where, look, it is very obvious that they are trying to do long-term storytelling. Do you think that some of these things don't make sense to us right now because they're so intricate? And that maybe after this weekend, a lot of questions and a lot of those...
You might be right, but what I'm saying is, like, you're looking at it like, hey, Road to WrestleMania starts in January.
Yeah.
Usually.
Of course.
They moved Royal Rumble to February 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Then they moved Elimination Chamber. They moved it back they moved everything back a couple weeks. I don't understand why. And then, I mean, they're not even selling the show out. And that could be their problem.
You did state that. So let's move on to not just what is wrong, but what are the causations of that. So why do you think that...
So one of the main things... I mean, one thing that happened this year, Raw went to Netflix.
Okay. You think that caused the storytelling to be...
Not all of it.
Okay.
They had to move. Netflix wanted Roman on Raw. Drew went to SmackDown. You know, a lot of parts had to move. Mm-hmm. Because when you sign a new contract with a network or streaming platform, you have to cater to their needs to get their money.
Makes sense.
With that, I mean, I really think WrestleMania is not anything without the Bloodline. Roman. I mean, because they had to throw... I mean, look at half the card. The Usos, mm-hmm. Jay's in a world title match, Naomi's on the card. I mean, I don't know if that's the cause of it. A lot of people are looking at it like some of these people shouldn't be on the card and other people should.
Okay, so you think it's favoritism?
Yeah. Because The Rock is on the board of directors.
Okay. So,
and I could be wrong.
So your causation is that. My causation is long-term storytelling. I guess mine is very optimistic. Long-term storytelling leading up to a big aha moment at WrestleMania.
It might be.
That's my causation. But so that could be absolutely another one. What could be something else? You said Netflix being on Raw. They moved to
Netflix.
How could Netflix being on Raw?
Raw went to Netflix, so they were worried about catering to that new contract.
So they had to focus more on the big, on the big matches like the John Cena's and the Cody Rhodes and the Roman Reigns and the CM Punks. So those big names are going to be focused more on.
But you know, it's crazy. Cody Rhodes isn't even Raw.
He's not wrong.
Raw. He's not on Raw.
Raw. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of. But
there's supposed to be a brand split, and right now there's not. They're gonna hopefully fix it with the draft that's coming up, but I don't know.
Okay, so. But I don't see a problem with that. I see the point in speaking about that, but I don't see a point with that because usually during this time there's a lot of cross promotions between the brands because they're trying to sell the stories.
Let's talk about storytelling.
Okay.
And the only reason why I say that is Jey Uso. Mm-hmm. He's their number one selling merch right now.
I thought it was Cody Rhodes.
No.
It's not?
To put him in a story... This is what I mean by storylines not making sense.
Okay,
right?
So yeah, that was another point that you made.
Jey Uso. We know how good he is in the ring.
Right.
Right. He's lost to Gunther 3 times.
Yes.
He's 0-3. And now he's all of a sudden scared. Or you're putting him in a position where he has to win. Or if he doesn't win at WrestleMania, it kind of buries him.
Right. And yeah, how do you come back from? I mean, you can come back from
I know that
a fourth loss. You will never be. You will. I hate saying never. It'll be really hard for you to come back. Yeah.
They'll have to repackage him.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about repackaging, but
like, you know.
Yeah.
They'd have to create a whole new dynamic of his character.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so storytelling, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had a gauntlet match for this women's tag team title match.
Yeah.
Right. Lyra Valkyria and Bayley just fought each other for the Intercontinental Championship last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Then on Friday, they were in a tag team match together.
I saw that.
To become the number one contenders.
I was so confused about that. That one I agree with, because I watched that one. I watched that fight, and I said, weren't they just fighting last week?
If you watch the end of that fight, the end of the match, Bayley comes in, act like she wasn't going to shake her, and then she went in for a hug. Mm-hmm. So they might be planning a Bayley heel turn.
Has Haley been heel?
Yes, she was. Remember Damage Control.
And I was just hoping that I wasn't misremembering that.
Yeah, she was but I don't think she needs another heel run right now.
I don't think so.
She hasn't had that good of a babyface run. And she might be a better heel.
Yeah. Okay, so what's another one? What's another story that just doesn't make sense to you?
Okay, so we went over the Gunther and Jey Uso. We went over the women's tag team title match.
Let's talk about the big one.
Which one? John Cena?
No, the other one. No, the other big one. What is the only other big fight other than John Cena fight?
You could be...
The Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. Come on. There's only one other big fight other than that one fight.
There is. Okay, so my brother, I was talking to my brother last night on the phone. He was like, they all have beef from each other from when CM Punk was originally in the company.
Mm-hmm. Well, CM Punk was the one that was supposed to originally bring up the
the Nexus?
Not Nexus.
We gotta restart it.
No, let's finish. We'll talk about this.
So, the match doesn't make sense.
Why do you say that?
I would rather see Roman and Seth Rollins fight.
Okay.
Than have CM Punk in the match.
And why not have CM Punk in the match?
They're fighting over Paul Heyman.
Essentially, that's what it is. But why is that not a good story to tell?
It all started with okay, so CM Punk helped at War Games.
The favor, right.
The favor.
Right.
And then last week, Seth Rollins was like, oh.
Now you owe me a favor.
Now you owe me a favor because I didn't stomp your head into the ground.
Right.
The triple threat match, I don't think it's needed. I would have found something else for CM Punk to do.
But it would. When would you have find something for him to do? When would that have been? Because
it would have been It would have had to have been after Elimination Chamber. Because we didn't know who was going to face. Cody Rhodes until after Elimination Chamber. CM Punk. I mean, they could have even done a CM Punk Seth Rollins and found something else for Roman to do.
I thought that's what it was going to be, but you can't leave Roman out of the picture.
I don't think it would have left him out. They could have found
something else different.
There's other good people out there. Another thing.
Yeah.
And this will be the last one.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano. The stupidest storyline.
That's undercard for sure. That's going to be one of the first fights of the match.
It is, yeah. It'll be like
the WrestleMania, and that's just to get everybody's foot wet and start getting everybody's attention and energy.
We know it's Chad Gable.
What if it's not? Like, obviously, it's Chad Gable, but what if it's not?
It kind of reminds me of when Hogan became Mr. America back in 2003. He came back in the mask wearing the red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm not Hulk Hogan, bro.
Brother.
And they had Vince McMahon doing the whole lie detector like they even gave Hulk Hogan a lie detector
I don't remember
test.
that one. That's how you know I'm not like a deep like WWE
Yeah,
fan.
yeah.